Hello everybody, we are going to discuss the next part of our chapter Elements, Compounds and Mixture Part 3. Today we are going to discuss the different kinds of technique of separation of mixtures. Now it is not possible to discuss all the separation technique today, so we are going to discuss some of them first. Hand picking, winnowing, magnetic separation, sublimation. These four processes, these are applicable when the two components or more, they are solid in solid mixture. That means these four processes are applicable for solid mixtures. So first one is that hand picking. Substance should be large enough in size, can be recognized by naked eyes, picked out by hands. Example, small stones from rice or pulses, etc. Now, hand picking, it's very obvious that the different components are solid. Rice is mixed up with the small stones, so both are solid. But you can recognize the small stones in a mixture of rice and stone with your naked eye. So, if the quantity of the mixture is small, and you can recognize the small particles, that means the small stones in the mixture of rice or pulses with that small stone, you can easily pick it up from the mixture. So that is the hand picking, where the substance size should be large enough and the quantity is small and you can recognize by your naked eyes. Next is the winnowing. This process is actually used by the farmers generally, used to separate light solids from the heavier ones with the help of wind. Example, grain from husk and hay. So winnowing, this is a technique to separate the solid mixture, but here one of the component is very lighter so that it can blown off by the passing of wind. For example, grain with the mixture of husk and hay, and this particular technique is utilized by the farmers generally. Third one is the magnetic separation. Here also the components of the mixtures both are solid. One of the components of the mixture is magnetic in nature. Example, mixture of iron and sulfur. You know that iron is a magnetic substance. So if the dust particles of sulfur in the dust form mixes up with the particles of iron in the dust form, so it is not possible to separate that iron and sulfur from that mixture. So you have to use a magnet. You know that iron is a magnetic substance, and if you keep the magnet near that mixture, so the iron, since they are the magnetic substance, they actually move or they pulled by the poles of the magnet, and that can be attracted towards the magnet, and by means of using a magnet you can easily separate the iron from the mixture of sulfur, iron and sulfur. Fourth procedure is the sublimation. This is very important. Here one of the components can sublime on heating. Now sublime means, you know that most of the cases if you supply the heat, the solid changes to the liquid state, and with the further heating the liquid changes in the gaseous state. And if you cool it down, then the gas substance changes to the liquid followed by the if you again cool it down, then it turns to the solid state. But in case of the sublimation, the solid substance like iodine, like camphor, like naphthalene, they, by absorbing the heat, they directly changes from the solid state to the gaseous state. And if you cool down the vapors of that kind of substance, it again back to the solid state. So this particular process is known as the sublimation, where one of the components can sublime on heating. That means there is no phase for the liquid state. Example, sand with mix of iodine. Iodine is a type of substance which can sublimate. Common salt with the mixture of ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is a substance which can sublimate. You see that figure. It's a laboratory apparatus procedure, that it's a tripod stand and here the tripod stand, here is a wear gauge. Now we place an evaporating dish. This bowl implies the evaporating dish. Within that evaporating dish there is a mixture of solids, say iodine with the sand. Now you have to use a funnel, and you see the open end of the funnel, the mouth is closed by using a cotton plug. Do not forget to place the cotton plug at the top of this inverted funnel. Now you just keep it down in this way. The apparatus arrangement should be like this. And now if you supply the heat by a Bunsen burner, then what will happen? Then by absorbing the heat, the iodine can sublime. You see the strokes, that means the iodine gradually vaporizes, and the vapors of iodine that can actually accumulate themselves here, sublimate. But since the cotton plug is present there, the vapors cannot escape through that mouth because the mouth is closed. So the iodine, or if you use the ammonium chloride, they can sublimate here. Now if you collect it, then after cooling you can get back the iodine or the ammonium chloride and the common salt or sand that will remain there inside the bowl. So this drawing is very important. Practice this drawing. This is the way of sublimation. Okay. So these are the techniques so that you can separate the solid mixtures. Now come to the solid liquid mixture. The first one is that sedimentation and decantation. What is the technique? Settling down of suspended, insoluble, heavy solid particles in a solid liquid mixture. For example, sand is mixed up with water. Now see this figure. Take a bowl, and inside the bowl consider that here is a mixture of sand with water. Okay? Now after some time, because sand particles are heavier, so it settles down at the bottom of the beaker or the container. So this portion, that means this black shaded portion, implies that sand settled down at the bottom of the container in the form of sediment, and at the top of that side, that means this white portion, that is almost clear liquid, and it is termed as supernatant liquid. This is the step 2. Now step 3, this beaker, and this is the beaker number 3. These two are the same beaker. Now you need another beaker. That is a clear beaker. Now using a glass rod, very carefully, dropwise, with the help of a glass rod, you have to transfer that supernatant liquid from this beaker 1 to this beaker 2. And if you do it very carefully, so after some time you will get the clear water here and the sand as a sediment in the beaker 1, and the clear water as a supernatant liquid, the clear water you can get it back in the beaker 2. So these are the techniques to separate the different kinds of the mixture. Next day we will discuss something more. Thank you.